Boa tarde a todos. Obrigado pelo convite, pela minha pessoa. Obrigado também aos oradores por estar cá. Os speakers irão fazer uma apresentação em inglês, so I try to say something in English. Welcome to everybody to be here. Thank you for the invitation. I will do a small presentation of a curriculum of everybody on the stage, and starting with the first speaker, Jonathan Gomes. I wrote the CV in Portuguese. Okay. É diretor-geral do Turismo do Ajuntamento de Málaga, gera a política de turismo e estratégia e já desenvolvimento de uma cidade mais em voga na Europa. Já teve funções como representante internacional da Academia da Organização Mundial de Turismo, OMT, junto das universidades do setor, governo, companhia de topo, e para expansão e contínuo crescimento da importância da educação e investigação acadêmica nesta atividade. Como assim, do papel da formação representa. Fui também coordenador da Plataforma para o Turismo Sustentável do OMT durante o seu lançamento em 2017, Ano Internacional do Turismo Sustentável das Nações Unidas. Ainda colabora no setor privado, com a rede de turismo cidadino, gastronomia, vinho, turismo de compra, conhecimento. Além de funções no Ajuntamento de Málaga, dá aula de gestão turística na Universidade Rei Juan Carlos e na Les Roches Global Hospitality School. So, Jonathan, please, the stage is yours.
Sure, thank you.
Thank
Can
you.
I have the slider? Okay. Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everybody. Sorry I go for English, but I have to confess that I feel ashamed because it's quite ridiculous for me talking English since we are cousins, Spain and Portugal. But the Portuguese, you know how to speak perfectly Spanish, and we are so idiots, and we don't know how to speak Portuguese. But this is normal in Spanish people. I was listening to many of you before, and the problems that you have in this region, in Algarve. Sorry, guys. And I really want to push you to analyze how to work together much more, because we have the same problems. We have the same problems, and we find solutions that probably you are wondering how to make it happen, and vice versa. We have the same mobility problems, we have the same tourism handling problems, and we have reached a lot of goals that it will be interesting if we collaborate more together. So from the side of Malaga, with Faro and Algarve, anything you may need, we will have open doors always for anything you may have. I want to tell you very quickly how is the situation in terms of smart, and how we move from smart to Web3, which is something like, what? What's this going on? Let me show you a little bit. I hope I tap here, right? No. Twice, no. Which is the slider to move on? Which one? Because I've never seen this, sorry. Okay.
I was wondering if you would like to have sex. Great. I'll be right back.
That was 1993, but the time came. We are now at that moment. Hopefully we don't take into this, but in terms of travel, the moment has arrived at this point. The good that the Web3 and the smart technologies for cities and for experiences in traveling is that we have everything for everyone. I want to tell you why Malaga is leading right now the technology implementations in Europe. We have been a smart tourism capital for 2 years. 2020 and 2021, we are leading the network of smart tourism cities at the European Union, but everything has an explanation. And it's something that also is very useful for Algarve, because Malaga was away from budgets in Spain, away from possibilities, but now we are over Madrid and Barcelona in many things. And it's all about bringing talent to the region, which is happening right now with the remote workers. We have plus 600 companies in which is considered the European Silicon Valley by the European Union. We have, for example, IBM, Google, TDK, Oracle, Vodafone, HP, Accenture, Caterpillar, Global, Santander, Deloitte. And with the 2 last incorporations was Google, the headquarters in Europe for cybersecurity comes to the city center. And we won a Vodafone contest to have the World I+D Center with 1,000 employees. We went to another 30 cities, and it's coming to the city of Malaga. So it's something that you should explore, because we have the same weather, the same wonderful welcoming DNA, and the same cheap opportunities for these companies rather than the big capitals. So what we did, we took the best of these opportunities, and these companies help us to understand how was our situation in terms of management of the city. We are the most advanced city in Europe in terms of big data management of resources. We analyze and track everything related with our budget, and once we analyze absolutely everything, we prioritize regarding all the different objectives that the city has. But the good point is in terms of balancing in the life of visitors and travelers, and visitors and locals. So we handle the energy through big data. We handle the water management through big data. We handle the waste management through big data. We analyze where we should to put much more investments in the city. And it's all about bringing the technology of these companies that we are their pilot projects, the city pilot project for all these implementations. So this is very useful to try to balance the life of locals, the resources for locals, and what the travelers brings to us. So this is where we come from. This is established for almost 10 years by now, and we have as well the fuel electric mobility with green hydrogen, etc., etc. So what we did, we say in tourism, okay, we have to take the most in terms of tourism, not only for the city, how to bring the most in terms of tourism. What we did in the last 2 years from pandemic is to completely change all the technologies of the city in tourism. We have a new well-awarded big data information system, of course, website, tourism app, programmatic campaigns, blah, blah, blah. And everything is now technological to speak with the travelers and with the locals, getting data and providing data again to the market. Good. Some ideas I wanted to bring to you in here that will be applicable in Algarve, for example. We have this app created after pandemic to inform the travelers, now is included in the tourism app, to inform the travelers of the situation of the beaches, and also the jellyfishes, the wind, the temperature of the water, absolutely everything. It's quite useful, and everything that you can see here is at your disposal here in Algarve for anything you want to put. More things we have developed in these years, this is something very unique. We had a network of surveillance cameras in the city, around 100. We have implemented 125 more, and what we do with these cameras. Matching the GDPR, not recording, we are able to track and analyze the emotions of the people in the city. We now analyze plus 30 emotions in real time, the happiness, the sadness, the fearness, absolutely everything. So imagine the information we get from this. But this is not the only one thing. The good thing is that we get the IP of the people who's coming to the city. So we know in which part of the cities the Germans are happier, in which part of the cities the French are more angry, in which part of the cities people is more excited, depending on the nationality, and as you can see, in real time everywhere. What does it begins? That we know what our travelers are expecting from the city and what they are enjoying in the city. Another technology here we have in the city is OWO, is a startup from Malaga, and created the first haptic jacket in the world that is going to be bought by Sony and PlayStation, that now what they do is that you can replicate plus 30 emotions in your body. So what we are going to do, we are matching the promotional videos of Malaga with the emotions of the jacket. So it means that we are bringing an agreement with Netflix, and all the tourism promotions videos of Malaga will be uploaded. And if you have the jacket in the future, everybody will have it, because in video games now it's a hotspot. You will be able to feel the hug of one person in the middle of Larios Street, or how a person is touching you walking around the beach, or how the wind is touching your body as well. So this is something that we are prepared to give the possibility in the future. Bringing the most of these companies that I mentioned to you, Vodafone in 2019 set the most advanced 5G network in the city, and we are able to reproduce augmented reality with zero latency. It's the only one city in Spain with zero latency in creating augmented reality content for the travelers. But in terms of augmented reality, what we've done as well is all the year we have a lot of events, Feria, Easter, Cinema Festival, and we have implemented the possibility of living the events of the city no matter the part of the year you are. This is Easter, but this video is in October. So you are there in the street, and you can see at that concrete corner of the city how the Easter was in the last season of Easter. Okay, we have everything together, but we said that's very useful. We are getting a lot of data. We are getting very smart, but now we wanted to go further. And we begin to talk about metaverse. And we thought if we were ready to set the metaverse, but we said yes, but taking into consideration just and only local values. This is the most important thing. The metaverse cannot be Disneyland. The metaverse has to reflect what you are. Because if you want to inspire travelers about what you are, and you are promoting and promising amazing things, and when the people goes to the city, it doesn't match, it's the most unsatisfying thing that you can get from travelers. This is a video, it doesn't, can you tap please? Sorry, maybe this is the only one that needs a push. Well, from that information I told you, the emotions, the sentiments, the experiences in the city, from the big data that we compile, accommodation rates, flights received, capacity for seats, nationalities, what we have is we took the 25 most relevant emotions and words, and we changed completely the image of the city. We are not Malaga genius city anymore. This is, go ahead. Don't worry about the sound. We took 25 words, taken from big data, and we changed the brand of the city based on that. Because it will be easy for us to build storytelling much more close on the expectations on the travelers who's coming. So we talk about how important is the city, the ecosystem, we are an open city, very human, all that is highlighted by the travelers, international travelers, we grab it and we change completely the image of the city, the brand of the city that is now beginning in the city of Malaga, as you can see in here. So the data provide us the opportunity to change the word of our city and the values that we want to communicate in the city. This is one step further. And this is the step before to bring into metaverse and to bring into, okay, how to make it happen. To think if we are ready to work in Web3, which is blockchain, which is metaverse, which is cryptocurrencies, which is a lot of things, we created a Canva inspired by the companies that are in the city, including topics as tokenomics or the value content in this Web3. Of course, it takes 4 hours to explain. I only show you this because it's very useful. And how it all began? It began in April. We took the 30 top startups in the city, and we said, we have a dream. And we said, we want to create a very useful metaverse. And all the people got excited to help us to build a metaverse. And we are finishing the metaverse, and I give you here a glimpse of that. But we wanted a metaverse that will be real, and I will explain what does it mean. Sorry, because I didn't play automatically. One of the companies named Boson, it's now has been booked around 800 millions, and it's a company of 3 boys from Malaga, and they created the most advanced metaversial experience since you are able to bring together up to 10,000 people at the same place, at the same moment, from whomever in the city, and you don't need to depend on the Centraland or OpenSea or any other platforms. No, doesn't work? No, doesn't appear the bar? No aparece la... Vale, bueno, vamos a... Ahora, era yo. Era yo. What they do is, you can see your hands, you can see absolutely everything, you can get into anything that you can mind, and it's very useful also for education. And we were thinking, okay, this is the way we want to build in, this is the way we want to, and the first trial we did is, okay, this is the Plaza del Obispo, where the cathedral is, and we said, how accurate can we make it happen in Unreal? And they began to create, sorry, can we go back one? Una atrás, okay. A ver si se pone. This is the recreation of the cathedral, if only works, because it's not me. Click for mouse, no. Okay, no worries, I will show you. That square you saw is a Plaza del Obispo. Now we said, next year we have the 15th commemoration of the death of Pablo Picasso. It's the World Year of Picasso, named by UNESCO. For those that you don't know, Picasso is from Malaga. Forget about Paris. Forget about Barcelona. It's from Malaga, okay? Help us to spread the voice. Malaga, Spain, South Andalusia. And we have very good partners that they are going to join us this year for different activities. And we said, okay, there's no better way to check and to see how the metaverse goes than doing in the Plaza of the Cathedral. I promise I did it automatically. Yes. It has a wonderful sound as well. Picasso is there, painting. So depending on the area you want to spend this, you can move around, and what we're doing is opening the buildings for a lot of things that had to be happening here from people, art lovers from all over the world. And I think it works, and it's going to be an amazing opportunity to showcase Malaga in the metaverse. But why we want to do so? First of all, we want to promote Malaga and the new brand in the already existing metaverse platforms, OpenSea, the Centraland, and we're introducing these skins as promotion inside, which is not tracked, and it's very good for us to spread this voice of the city. And these guys are going to get you into the metaverse of Malaga when they meet you into the Decentraland or OpenSea market. But the good thing of the metaverse is this, for example. We have partnered with MoMA, Louvre Abu Dhabi, Centre Pompidou Malaga. We have this museum in the city, and the Royal Academy of Arts. And we are going to get into the metaverse, never seen exhibitions of Picasso, and I think it has volume, but no worries, it's okay. And never seen exhibitions of Picasso, and the possibility of, through buying tokens, have the possibility of being part of owner of some of the pieces that the city of Malaga has as an ownership, not the family, but the city of Malaga we have as an ownership. So what's going to happen in the year of Picasso in our little metaverse by now? We're going to include an annual agenda with exhibitions of art, forums to talk about Picasso, conferences, meetings, concerts, quiz, guided e-tours of the city, and co-training about arts in the city. So no matter where our potential visitors are, they will be able to get into the city. But we want to build excellence, and when we were planning this, we said, okay, that's a very good opportunity also for us. And we said, we are in here, we are plus 160 nationalities people living, and we are receiving another plus 130 nationalities living. How to understand these people better when they come to the city? Remember, we got the emotions by nationalities. Remember, we got the data. And inspired by the Lewis model of cross-culture, and inspired by the data we track in the cameras of the city, what we did is to upload in the metaverse travel behavior of different nationalities visiting Malaga, and we are training our hotels, our restaurants, our taxi drivers, our bars on how to deal with Russians, well, not Russians now, but French, German, Japanese, Brazilian, whatever, because we know how do they feel when they come to the city. And we use the metaverse for lessons, no matter the time of the day, no matter when they want. You cannot imagine how successful we are doing. And also for disabled people, we are bringing, for people that they cannot see, the haptic jackets to bring travel accessible for those that they cannot feel in. It's an amazing experience for those, and they appreciate it so much. But okay, we have a metaverse. You can be in New York in your sofa, and you can get into the metaverse of Malaga. But how we get money? in the city of Malaga with that? Because we get brand awareness, but how we get money? So the first thing you have to ask is what the metaverse is for. Okay, it's a question, but okay, it's cool to have a metaverse, maybe, but is it useful? That's a good question. Is it going to be useful or not? And that's the question we did. Current challenges we all have, destinations in the world. The sustainable resources. The consumption of water is for locals, is for visitors. The hotels are wasting less. Gentrification. In Malaga, we make it happen to move people spreading around the neighborhoods, but at the beginning they were only in the pedestrian area. And the gentrification is something that in the big cities, it's a nice problem. The expenses, the travelers spend more and less, even less and less, and we want they spend more in the cities. Engaging, the travelers are really intoxicated. They receive, come to New York, come to Faro, come to Barcelona, come to Athens, and really how to engage with them. It's a concrete way to engage with them, providing added value for real. And of course, the heritage preservation. We are 3,000 years of history city with heritage from Phoenicians, Romans, Carthaginians, Moorish, Christians. It's amazing. Okay, it costs a lot of money. How to preserve it as we have to. And of course, something that is very critical for us, all the online platforms and so on saying, okay, you have to buy in Amazon, blah, blah, blah. We want they to buy local, not only a magneto for the freeze. No, artisans, handcrafting, everything. And of course, the most important thing for destinations, the funds. How we get the funds to make it happen. Not depending on politics, not depending on how to make it happen. Well, we make it real. And now you're going to say, no, yes, we make it real. We found how to make it happen. We created the first NFT management system in the world for a tourism destination. It's something really extremely amazing that the results that they are providing are amazing. It's an app we have created where you can get from augmented reality NFTs all around the city. You have your wallet where you get your rewards and you store your collections. We create tens of games around the city. I will explain you why. We have a market where you can buy or sell your NFTs, and the program of rewards, and of course, the green coast. The green coast, I will tell you where it is because I'm excited with that. The languages, we have in many languages. You can get your profile, your settings, and of course, everything that I show you that is used for. And the important thing is, it comes, one example, we are the world hosting city for Davis Cup this year and next year. And we created an example. We said, let's see if it works. We created an NFT to get into the draw of tickets for Davis Cup in November. And we download around 5,000 in one day, only around the city. And you can say, okay, what is for? I will show you what is for. And then you can store it in your wallet. Okay, until here, it's okay, you have wallets. But what we do with these things, for example, in the marketplace, once you have your NFTs, you can buy, you can sell, you can put the price, you upload it into the most popular top 10 NFT markets in the world, and you can get money. Of course, you're free to set up a price for everything that you want to sell around. And let me tell you why is it useful. Remember we said the tourists spend less in the city, not now. We build itineraries in the city where you can get the NFTs. So if we one day go to the sailor neighborhood, and they go to the restaurant of the sailor neighborhood, and they get 2 meals by the price of one, they have to go and get the NFT. So we can guide the travelers around the city through different collections of different areas around. And this is happening, and this is working. Not to buy local, now yes. We have the European champion of street art and graffiti, is from Malaga. And as him, we have the Institute San Telmo, where Picasso learned how to paint. They're amazing artists. Imagine the platform that they suppose for these guys and for these artists, painters, handicrafters, whatever. They can give the ownership of the piece of art through an NFT, which is an encode and encrypted code that says that you are the only one owner of that. So we open this platform to all the artists of the city to create collections, to sell them, Malagueñan artists, whatever. We are creating now with the family of Picasso a special collection of pieces of art of Picasso. But how about this? This is the most exciting thing, the heritage preservation. We name green courses. We build 5, 6 green courses, And it means that through cryptocurrencies, that through any payment, people support the preservation of the green projects of the city. So we are able to get money from travelers. It's a kind of voluntary tourism tax, but since we provide value to them through NFTs, through rewards, through giveaways, they feel comfortable providing this help to the city and this support to the city. And gentrification is clear. We set NFTs wherever in the city, and they have to take the public transport to go to another part of the city. They have to move around the city, moving away from the city center as it holds. For example, this is a free ticket and free t-shirt in Pompidou Museum. And this is the magic, the funding, because I told you, I promised you that we get money from the NFTs management system, of course. How many of you have cryptocurrencies? Not many? Okay. Gas fee is one word used when you want to buy, exchange, or sell cryptocurrencies in internet. No matter what you do with your currencies, you have to pay a piece of commission, which is the gas fee. Who owns the gas fee? Malaga. Anytime an NFT is sold in internet or bought in internet, the percentage of the gas fee goes for the city of Malaga. So in 1 month, we own around 25,000 euros only with the sell and bought of NFTs. Imagine the power of the Web3 for us in tourism. But the most important thing, the sustainable resources consumption. Everything runs over a blockchain. We use Chia. What is Chia? It's the most sustainable blockchain in the world because only consumes the 0.16 of total Bitcoin energy. It's nothing. So we don't waste money in energy of mining or taking care of the blockchain. And how to manage? Look how easy it is. Look how easy is the dashboard of the NFT, because you can say, okay, maybe in Tourism Algarve or Tourism Dublin or Tourism Malaga, I need specific researchers or technicians to handle. No. This is a very user-friendly dashboard where you can download, you can check how many people download the app, the places of interest, the rewards, the NFTs sold, actives, inactives, sponsor, sell, bought. Everything is absolutely user-friendly to build content. This is very amazing because you can say, okay, I know there is a cinema premiere in the city center with Antonio Banderas tomorrow at 7 o'clock. Everybody's going to be there. Tomorrow at 7 o'clock, I create one promotion for people to go to the other side of the city for free plate of seafood or things like that. You have a chatbot, and you can create NFTs as easy as that. The artists, the museums, anyone can make it happen. They can say how many time will be open for trading, for live, for a couple of days, whatever you may need. And this is a real thing. For example, we did the last week, the T-shirt of Malaga Football Club. It doesn't matter if it's the last one in second division in Spain, not like Farense, that is going good. I think second, third, I love football. But we are the last ones, but one day we will back to Champions League. But at least, that was nice, because we got, in 3 hours, we got around 20 T-shirts redeemed through NFT. And these people went there, but not went to the shop and they took the T-shirt and that's it. No, they asked for tickets for the next match. They eat in a restaurant next to the stadium, which is not a tourism area. So we spread the expense of the people around the city. So finally, this is what I wanted to show you. We can also include new green causes for NGOs of the city, anything we can imagine. So finally, we can also have an idea on the incomes we are having. And the good thing that we are doing is creating upselling, training local people, building sense of belonging of the local people, earning money, of course, for the city, taking care of the carrying capacity that we spread around the city, upgrading the experience of the people, redeem emotions into goods that you spend in the city, engage with them for a long time, building loyalty, showcase Malaga, inspire travelers, offer exclusivity, and of course, they own the experience in Malaga. This is what I want to show you today, and I hope it is inspiring for you, and this is open for you if you want to build up here or whatever you need. Okay, thank you very much.
My first question to start to break the ice, okay? How many people use your NFT marketplace? to have a revenue of, is it right, 20K per month?
Now, in the month that is open only, we reached 25 people in 1 month without promotion. We didn't do promotion of the NFT platform yet. So we expect that most of people under 35 years old will use it properly.
Okay.
Yeah.
How much was the initial investment for this NFT platform?
Not few, but the good point is that we did the biggest investment, and now the replication is quite easy because it's just changing places and changing whatever you can imagine. The dashboard and all the implementation and all the programming of the blockchain and building up with experiences, all these connections were very difficult to make it happen. It was very expensive. It was plus 500,000 euros. But now, for cities that they will be interested for that, it will be less than a quarter of that because it's everything done. So it's only buying the license to the people, to the startup, and that's it.
You explained that to do this very nice project, you invite several startups to the municipality to present your ideas. After that, the startup presented their MVP and so on. So who finance this idea? The municipality will pay the startup, or you are thinking something different?
We pay the startups. We pay the startups because we have a very good relationship with the tech segment of the city. Thanks to the companies that we have within the city, we have an annual fund provided by the companies as well to build up more and more startups in the city. But in this case, we dedicate a budget for these companies that we really directly pay to them for the ideas. And the companies, for example, participate in the ideas on what to do within the metaverse, what to do inside, what's going to happen inside along the Picasso's year, and with the idea on providing value through the metaverse. Because our idea is not only is to link both projects, and it's to create NFTs for be redeemed in the metaverse. You can catch them in the metaverse, and then you can redeem it in the city once you visit Malaga, which is another step we want to do. I give you value for getting into my metaverse, and then once you visit my city, you can get it for real.
Thank you. Please, George.
Hi. Just sinking in the information pretty much a big load, but just a question that's basically based on your last reply. Procurement is quite an issue because obviously like you're working with these set of startups, but you can't really hand over the money in any form. So how does that work? Is it like you directly contracting certain services? Is it like some contest, an RFP or innovation?
Yeah.
How does it work?
There's the building that you saw in the picture when we have the meeting with these startups. It's the National Digital Contents Pole, which is the home of startups of Spain that we fight a lot to be set up in Malaga. When nobody thought on that, we wanted that, and now the results are there. So that building has an own institution named Digital Pole of Spain, which belongs to Malaga, but we have to name Spain. And that's the point, is that they are in charge to get all the ideas and to come up to the City Council with a global program on ideas to be developed in the metaverse. And that money goes to the pole, and the pole distributes it to the startups.
You also explained that you create in the metaverse a meta training for hospitality industry. And to do that, you collect emotion from the tourists.
Yes.
So how you combine the privacy legislation to register this situation?
As easy as not recording. The GDPR in Spain, and also it's an European law, but if you don't record, if you don't get into personal data, names, pictures, you can do whatever you want. So basically we don't record. It's like, imagine, the system doesn't difference that it's a bottle or a human person. It's something walking with expressions in this part, and they record these expressions. But I get the IP because I know if the telephone that is in the pocket is German, Portuguese, French, or Irish. This is the only one thing.
So everybody in Europe can collect emotion from the people.
Of course.
Thank you.
If they don't record. I repeat,
Yes.
is not allowed. Recording is not allowed.
According with your investment, like Malaga municipality, your revenue from the NFT marketplace, did you have an idea when there is the payback period for you?
You mean that?
You receive the money investment that you pay.
When I'm going to-
When, more or less, in the next 10 years? 5 years?
Currently, July next year.
Next year?
July next year.
Congratulations. So it's a business for municipality and the tourism industry.
Yeah, but look, I mean, it's one explanation for that. Next year is the year of Picasso. We expect floats of wealthy travelers. Not travelers coming with flip-flops to the beach, no, travelers that they come to Picasso, museums, spend a lot of money in Michelin stars of Malaga, so that means that they're going to appreciate this added value, and that means that this commemoration allows us to get much more incomes in a shorter time.
Yeah, thank you. Is there any question for Jonathan?
Good.
So thank you, Jonathan. I know
Pleasure.
that you should leave, and so thank
you.
you again for
Thank you very much.
your speech.
O meu nome é João Marques, sou então responsável pela área de Analytics na NOS, onde nós essencialmente usamos os dados gerados pela infraestrutura toda da NOS para direcionar para alguns projetos em algumas áreas específicas. Excluindo, talvez, o Google e algumas redes sociais, a indústria de telecomunicações onde a NOS está é uma das maiores geradoras de dados, através da sua rede móvel, através da rede Wi-Fi, através da televisão e através da rede IoT, nós geramos uma grande quantidade de informação. É a nossa função aqui no Analytics trabalhar esses dados e trabalhar essa informação por forma a produzir insights que depois podem ser utilizados pelos nossos clientes, nos mais diversos setores, no processo de tomada de decisão. Uma nota aqui importante, como o meu colega estava aqui a falar, estes dados eles são todos anonimizados à partida, ou seja, por questões de RGPD, nós podemos analisar os dados, mas quando os recebemos para analisar, eles já vêm anónimos. Depois, durante os projetos, existem também um conjunto de processos, como, por exemplo, excluir da análise tudo que sejam leituras inferiores a 5 unidades, que garantem ainda mais, no fundo, que esses dados são anónimos. Entendemos também que, apesar dos dados que nós geramos por si só terem um grande valor, eles têm muito mais valor quando combinados com os dados dos nossos clientes. E, portanto, procuramos fazer aqui um trabalho a 4 mãos, em que usamos os dados gerados pela nossa infraestrutura, os dados que nós compramos de outras bases de dados e também os dados dos setores, dos clientes, dos setores onde trabalhamos. Este slide mostra um bocadinho, no fundo, o potencial da economia de dados. Portanto, é uma economia que está avaliada, ou que vai estar avaliada em 2025 em 600 bilhões de euros. 90% dos decisores consideram a informação como um ativo crítico e o Analytics como uma competência essencial. 175 zettabytes é o total de dados coletados no mundo até 2025. Aqui, para terem uma ideia desta quantidade de informação, se pegassem naqueles DVDs antigos de 4.7 GB e os empilhassem uns em cima dos outros, daria para ir à Lua 3 vezes e voltar. Portanto, é uma grande quantidade de informação que é gerada. Em 2025, cada pessoa vai gerar cerca de 5.000 interações digitais por dia e mais de 25% dessas interações elas vão ser consumidas em tempo real. O que é que isto significa? Significa que nós, à medida que vamos andando com os nossos telefones, que vamos interagindo com os devices em nossa casa, no carro, no trabalho, vamos gerar uma grande quantidade de sinais e de informação que pode ser trabalhada e, no fundo, as entidades que melhor souberem trabalhar essa informação e retirarem os insights dessa informação, certamente vão no caso do mundo empresarial, vão ter uma vantagem competitiva em relação aos seus competidores. Falando da NOS, a NOS investe no mercado de Analytics desde 2017. Hoje em dia, os nossos projetos de Analytics cobrem 100% do território português, de onde conseguimos extrair informação e produzir mais de 20 indicadores caracterizadores da população e não só. Conseguimos também dados históricos desde o início de 2019, o que é muito interessante, por exemplo, para as autarquias entenderem o fluxo de pessoas e o perfil dessas pessoas em 2019, depois durante o Covid e agora em 2022, e portanto fazer aqui uma análise comparativa. Em termos da precisão, nós conseguimos iniciar os nossos projetos considerando Portugal como um todo, mas depois conseguimos ir afunilando para concelhos, municípios, freguesias e até à secção estatística. O que é a secção estatística? É um concelho estatístico que considera 300 casas ou 300 habitações. O que significa que, por exemplo, numa cidade estamos a falar de um quarteirão ou dois, numa área mais rural estamos a falar de uma área de análise mais alargada. E, portanto, nós conseguimos ter essa granularidade para as nossas análises, entregar informação específica para aquele bairro ou para aquela região da cidade. Em termos de granularidade temporal, a mesma coisa, portanto, as nossas análises podem ser anuais e por aí abaixo, portanto, mensais, semanais, divisão do período da manhã para o período da tarde, e podemos ir até blocos horários de 30 em 30 minutos, ou, por exemplo, como um projeto que fizemos agora recentemente para a Proteção Civil, a informação atualizada de minuto a minuto no caso dos incêndios. E, portanto, aqui é um bocadinho à vontade do que se pretende que seja feito. Em termos do tamanho da amostra, estamos a falar aqui de cerca de mais de 3 milhões de indivíduos ou de utilizadores diários. Isto corresponde à cota de mercado da nós temos mais ou menos 32, 33% do mercado de telecomunicações. O que nós fazemos depois é pegamos nessa cota de 33% e através no fundo, aqui de métodos estatísticos, extrapolamos esses 33% para os 100% da população. Aqui convém referir que todas estas metodologias elas são sempre anónimas à partida e, portanto, mesmo que nós quiséssemos, nós nunca conseguimos reverter a informação para ter algum tipo de identificação de pessoas, porque os dados eles já recebemos os dados anónimos. Importante também dizer que nós complementamos a quantidade de dados gerada pela nossa infraestrutura com uma série de bases de dados. Por exemplo, se nós quisermos perfilar para um determinado bairro uma população, se calhar vamos buscar também informação ao INE, não é? Aos censos, ao Instituto Nacional de Estatística. Se quisermos entender o poder de compra de um determinado bairro, vamos entender o preço por metro quadrado desse bairro, vamos entender, por exemplo, o parque automóvel que existe nesse bairro, o tipo de telemóvel que se está a ligar à rede, ou seja, se é um iPhone ou se é um telefone de gama mais baixa, e, portanto, todos estes dados conectados entre si ajudam-nos a pintar aqui uma fotografia que depois gera um insight. Indo especificamente aqui para os casos de uso. A nossa missão aqui na nós é focar naquilo que os dados podem trazer para os nossos clientes e na informação que eles especificamente precisam para tomar decisões. Desde, por exemplo, criar insights que permitam a adaptação ao novo normal, portanto, com informação gerada em tempo real, permitir aos nossos clientes explorar para uma determinada região diferentes cenários e identificar triggers de ação, monitorizar e implementar medidas proativamente, olhar para o passado e perceber a evolução de padrões de mobilidade e de comportamento, um bocadinho que eu falei há pouco, não é? Entender como é que eram as coisas antes e olhar para a fotografia presente e fazer essa comparação. Em termos das empresas, portanto, nós trabalhamos com empresas públicas e empresas privadas, instituições públicas muito em projetos de saúde e de segurança, monitorização dos turistas num determinado lugar, gestão de território. Para as empresas privadas tem muito a ver com entender o seu público-alvo, ou seja, quem é que são as pessoas que passam à frente da minha loja, quem é que são as pessoas que entram no meu shopping, qual o perfil dessas pessoas, não é? Equilibrar a oferta e a procura, planear sazonalidade, muito relacionado, por exemplo, com a gestão no retalho, gestão de montras, por exemplo, entender o que colocar em cada época, de acordo com o tipo de pessoas que lá passam. Falando aqui de alguns casos de usos específicos e de projetos que implementamos. Por exemplo, no setor público, durante o Covid, a nós emitia um relatório semanal onde medíamos as medidas de eficácia do confinamento, analisávamos o movimento da população em regiões críticas, portanto, entender aqui e o impacto da pandemia nos turistas. Portanto, o que nós queríamos, no fundo, entender era se os picos de infecções estavam associados à movimentação das pessoas e à concentração das pessoas em determinados locais, e entender também se depois das medidas que tinham sido implementadas do fique em casa, se as pessoas efetivamente estavam em casa ou se tinham saído para a rua e se isso tinha gerado infecções. Para, por exemplo, para o setor dos transportes, trabalhamos muito também com cidades e municípios para entender os padrões de movimentação das pessoas, ou seja, as pessoas quando entram na cidade, de onde é que essas pessoas vêm, por onde é que essas pessoas entram, não é? Quais é que são as vias, os padrões de mobilidade que as pessoas utilizam dentro de uma cidade. Isto é muito interessante, não só para planear transportes públicos, não é? Se existem rotas onde está a haver aqui, no fundo, bottlenecks, ou se existem zonas com muita gente e que não estão a ser devidamente, no fundo, alimentadas por transportes públicos. Como também para o setor privado, em que trabalhamos, por exemplo, com empresas de trotinetes, empresas de bicicleta gira, para entender pontos de localização de trotinetes e bicicletas. Passando para o turismo especificamente, nós temos na nossa oferta, essencialmente, 4 tipos de projetos que fazemos. Primeiro, a informação turística, ou seja, entender para uma determinada região quem são, primeiro, qual é que é a divisão entre nacionais e estrangeiros. Os nacionais que estão naquela zona, de onde é que vieram, se estão naquela zona, para onde é que vão a seguir, portanto, nos 3 dias antes ou nos 4 dias antes, onde é que andaram e para onde é que foram, de que regiões do país é que vão, nos estrangeiros, de que país é que as pessoas estrangeiras estão lá, que método de transporte é que utilizaram para entrar no país e por onde é que entraram. Especificamente para os nacionais, nós conseguimos ir mais ao detalhe de entender qual é o perfil dessas pessoas, qual é o poder de compra dessas pessoas, enfim, todo um conjunto de informação que nós retiramos da nossa rede e depois de um conjunto de outras bases de dados. Isto é muito interessante, não só para entender quem é o meu público, portanto, quem são as pessoas que estão na minha região, quantos é que são nacionais, quais é que são estrangeiros, de onde é que vêm os estrangeiros, de onde é que vêm os nacionais e qual é que são as suas características gerais, como também, por exemplo, para promover o município, direcionando publicidade, por exemplo, para as zonas de onde essas pessoas vêm. Isto aqui, tipicamente, é na forma de um relatório em que é feito um estudo detalhado durante X dias e é apresentado depois um relatório, mas a seguir já vamos ver essa informação em mais detalhe. O Nós Stratify é a plataforma da Nós Do It Yourself, ou seja, basicamente isto é um site que as pessoas têm acesso. Este site é alimentado diariamente por uma base de dados de mais de 65 indicadores e que depois as pessoas, através de uma lógica de drag and drop, vão arrastando os vários indicadores que querem ver para a plataforma e vão correlacionando um indicador com o outro. Portanto, se eu arrastar número de turistas e arrastar pessoas por metro quadrado, não é? e pedir para correlacionar um a dividir pelo outro, aquilo vai-me pintar o mapa com as densidades de estrangeiros por metro quadrado nas várias regiões que eu estou a analisar. Tem também outra coisa interessante, esta plataforma, que permite que o cliente carregue na plataforma os dados que quiser. Portanto, através de uma forma relativamente simples, eu posso correlacionar os dados que a minha organização, que o meu município, que a minha freguesia gera, com os dados que estão na plataforma e correlacionar depois uma série de variáveis e fazer análises. Vamos ver agora um vídeo do Stratify.
Podem facilmente cruzar diferentes fontes de dados e dar resposta a questões críticas para o bom funcionamento da cidade. Eis alguns exemplos. Ao realizar uma obra naquela rua ou fechar esta praça, quantas pessoas serão afetadas? E quantas empresas? Qual a dinâmica que os turistas imprimem na cidade? Onde se concentram? Quais os seus padrões de mobilidade? Qual o impacto dos grandes eventos na cidade? De que forma influenciam a mobilidade da população?
Pronto. E é isto. Portanto, isto é, no fundo, aqui um exemplo da plataforma e de algumas das coisas que nós podemos fazer na plataforma, sendo que existe muito mais funcionalidades que podem ser, que estão disponíveis. falando especificamente aqui desta última dos eventos, outra da informação que nós temos para o turismo é a análise de eventos, ou seja, entender para um determinado evento a quantidade de pessoas que estiveram nesse evento, quantos é que são nacionais e estrangeiros novamente, de onde é que essas pessoas vieram, mas também quanto tempo as pessoas ficaram dentro do evento. No caso dos festivais, por exemplo, que nós emitimos sempre para, por exemplo, todos os anos para o Web Summit ou para o Nós Alive, se houve repetição de visitas, portanto, se a mesma entidade ou o mesmo, digamos, sinal teve vários dias seguidos no nosso espaço e, portanto, conseguimos criar aqui depois um relatório completo de como é que foi aquele evento em termos de números. Isto é interessante, eu diria, por duas coisas. Para ter armas, digamos assim, para os patrocinadores, portanto, poder chegar a um patrocinador e dizer, olha, estiveram aqui X mil pessoas, X estrangeiros, X nacionais e os nacionais com as características que tiveram, enfim, todo um conjunto de indicadores que podemos entregar a potenciais patrocinadores do evento. E uma segunda grande fonte de informação é direcionamento de publicidade para... Nós, no fundo, sabemos onde é que as pessoas estiveram nos 4 dias antes e nos 4 dias depois do evento e, portanto, conseguimos saber de onde é que aquelas pessoas vieram e podemos direcionar a publicidade para essas regiões. Por exemplo, aqui no caso do Nós Alive é muito interessante ver como a grande maioria da multidão desceu de Lisboa, não é? Onde foi o Nós Alive, para a região do Algarve. Portanto, vê-se, no fundo, uma mancha a descer para sul. Aqui embaixo, neste quadrado, embaixo à direita, que é outra forma de apresentar os dados, conseguimos ver também no Web Summit, por exemplo, como as pessoas se deslocavam da região da Expo para a região do centro de Lisboa e, portanto, aquelas barras, elas vão subindo e descendo ao longo do dia e, portanto, durante o evento estão ali na zona da Expo e depois, ao final do dia, vê-se as pessoas a deslocarem-se para a região do centro. E, por fim, o último, digamos, caso de uso que temos no turismo é a procura versus oferta. O que é isto? Isto é, no fundo, uma oferta mais direcionada para, negócios, na medida em que nós conseguimos entendendo a receita que um determinado negócio, ou um hotel, ou um município tem numa determinada região e as características dessa mesma região, nós depois conseguimos, extrapolando essas mesmas características, ou extrapolando essas características para outras regiões, conseguimos projetar potencial receita e potencial de uma região em que essas empresas não estão ainda. E, portanto, conseguimos, no fundo, mapear um mapa pelo potencial baseado nas características dessa população. Falando aqui de alguns relatórios e insights, só para terem uma ideia do tipo de informação que nós disponibilizamos, temos, por exemplo, aqui no gráfico acima a presença de turistas em Albufeira e a análise da sua residência de origem. Portanto, no gráfico da esquerda temos a quantidade de turistas e depois no gráfico da direita, aquilo está por anos, não é? 2019, 2020, 2021, temos as principais regiões de onde esses turistas vêm. Este tipo de informação tipicamente é apresentada em Power BI, o que significa que depois todos estes gráficos são totalmente interativos e têm depois associado, no fundo, a cada um daqueles pontos, um conjunto de informação auxiliar que se pode consultar. Em baixo temos a presença de estrangeiros em Albufeira e a análise da sua residência de origem, portanto é um bocadinho a mesma análise, perceber nos 3 anos de onde é que vieram os estrangeiros. Portanto, conseguimos ver aqui que claramente o Reino Unido, a Alemanha e a Holanda têm a maior fatia, digamos assim, não é? Passando para o próximo slide, temos aqui a percentagem de turistas nacionais e estrangeiros e a duração de estadia. Portanto, nós conseguimos entender, dividir entre nacionais e estrangeiros para os estrangeiros e ver de onde é que esses estrangeiros vêm, mas depois também conseguimos ver a distribuição do número de médio de dias por estadia, portanto, quantos dias em média que estas pessoas ficam em Portugal. E, por fim, entender aqui um bocadinho de onde é que estas pessoas vêm. Não é? Por exemplo, se vêm pela via aérea, rodoviária, marítima ou ferroviária, e entendendo também os pontos de entrada, portanto, que percentagem de pessoas é que entram pelo aeroporto de Lisboa, que percentagem de pessoas entram pelo Porto, que percentagem de pessoas vêm de cruzeiros, por exemplo, ou pela via terrestre. E, portanto, conseguimos fazer aqui um quadro caracterizar essas pessoas. Hã? Eu penso que sim. Sim. Por acaso, eu acho que isto não é de Lisboa, isto é de outro, acho que é de Cascais. Pronto. E termino.
Okay.
Obrigado.
I'm not delighted to be following those two absolutely incredible speakers. I thought I was going to be the only person here talking endlessly about tourism data today, but actually I figured out that I'm going to be speaking least about tourism data. Usually I'm the person in the room who people have to ask to shut up about tourism data, but I'm delighted today. So, my name is Barry Rogers. I'm the Smart Tourism Programme Manager for Dublin. It's a very lonely title. There aren't too many smart tourism managers, although as we've seen today, there are an incredible amount of brilliant people in the smart tourism sphere. As from Malaga, obviously, who's won the award twice. And I would obviously like to apologize before I start to the translators who are currently figuring out how to translate my thick Irish accent. I apologize. Thanks. I think it's the green button. Is it the green button? Yeah? Okay, great.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, before I start, I get asked to speak at conferences all the time. Very, very rarely I get asked to speak at one that I cycled to in 2018. So, in 2018, me and my now wife cycled from Lisbon all the way to Faro along the coast, along the Eurovelo. And so I just wanted to say thank you so much for your amazing hospitality. Whoever works on this project might be in this room. Excellent. We had a great time. It was fantastic. And we're coming back to do the northern stretch as well. Okay, so should we get serious? So smart tourism. There's a couple of things I'd like to cover in my talk. What is smart tourism? I'll cover pretty quickly because everyone knows what it is. Why is it necessary? Like what's happened, what's changed in the world that we need to be focusing on all these wonderful things that we're now talking about. And then finally, the really important one, the one that I got asked by my CEOs all the time, what are you doing that matters? Why does anything that you're doing, you're spending all this money, how are you adding value? So that's what I'll talk about today. A lot of what I'm going to be talking about will be very practical. So I'll be talking about a lot of the data we've bought, a lot of the digital things that we've built, but mostly I want to get across how smart tourism can become extremely practical. Okay, great. So these are the things I'm going to talk about. I won't take too long. I'm going to talk about our innovation partnership, which is very, very unique in the smart cities space. And then I'm going to talk about the networks that we've created both in Ireland and overseas in Europe. I'm going to talk about the specific model that we've created. So a lot of you will be aware of this the European model for smart tourism, smart destination development. We had to tweak that because when we started our smart tourism program, we ran straight into COVID. So we had to become very, very practical about what we were delivering. And then finally, I'm going to talk about three things which have already been covered. The people we engage with, data and insights, which is the topic of the year, and digital innovation, so mobile app development, digital marketing, that kind of thing. And I would love to answer any difficult questions after this if anyone has them as well. Okay, fantastic. So smart tourism, what is it? Just to be very clear, I've been working in tourism for only about 10 years. I started in a catering college very like this. And when I started in tourism, the definition for tourism looked nothing like this. So if even what we were doing 10 years ago in tourism, we were focused on three things mostly. More visitors, get more into the country, get more money out of them, so get them to spend more, and get that ultimately to create more jobs. That's it. That's the whole model of Irish tourism for 200 years, okay? Things have slightly changed now for the better. So now in the city, in Dublin, we are working on this model specifically, okay? And we had to do a bit of thinking to pull it together. So the model that we now work on in the city of Dublin is this model. So what are we doing? Smart tourism is our model for supporting innovation and driving positive transformation within Dublin. And the way we do that is a bit different. So we use things like technology, data analysis, digitalization. And ultimately, the reason we do this, why are we turning to these new tools, is because we want to create destinations which are better. That's it. We want to create more accessible, more sustainable, and more equitable destinations. And then the final piece, which is a lot different, the reason we're doing this, it's not for visitors. It's because we want people in our city to be happier. Okay? We want people in our city to feel like they are part of something bigger. And then we want visitors to have a better time. This is the way that the global tourism development model is completely flipping on its head at the moment. Visitors, ground up, community first, localhood, these are all the terms that you'll be hearing. And it's something that we're championing in Dublin as well. Okay, so what's our goal? We've been at this for 2 years now, so I should probably know whether or not we've done this. The goal of our Smart Tourism program is to establish Dublin as a world-leading smart destination through innovation projects and partnerships, okay? So you can decide after this presentation whether or not you think that I've actually done this. But hopefully we have helped drive Dublin forward a little bit in this space. Okay, so a couple of these names you may recognize. Very, very similar to your own destinations. Every destination has this. What's different about our Smart Tourism program is that a lot of the time, innovation partnerships or programs will come about in silos. So they'll come from an individual DMO, they'll come from an individual council, they'll come from an individual municipality. And in Ireland, we love to work in this way. Like, we love to work in silos. We hate talking to people. Very, very rare that 4 big local authorities will come together like this to do something as innovative as this. When this happened 2 years ago and I saw the job go up online, I couldn't believe it. Like this, never seen anything like this before. So just to introduce a few of these partners, these are all the biggest tourism players in Ireland. So you have the 4 big Dublin local authorities, behind it, big municipalities. You have Fáilte Ireland, who are the biggest DMO in the country. They're, 300 people, about €100 million budget, like a really big, probably like Visit Portugal here maybe. And then Smart Dublin. Smart Dublin is a collective of data scientists and engineers who are trying to drive innovation in Dublin. Okay, so that's pretty much it. They all came together in 2018 to do something that no one had ever really done before. They wanted to collaborate. They wanted to draw on all the great relationships that Smart Dublin had with private sector, with Google, MasterCard, Airbnb, all of these tech hubs which are using Ireland as a tax-efficient place to exist. And they also wanted to collaborate with the traditional tourism industry as well, so the DMOs. And they all came together to create this project that I now work on. So why is it necessary is my favorite question to answer. Like, why do we need to do this? And a lot of it goes back to the fact that smart tourism for us, and if there's anything you could take away from this, is that it's not about data, it's not about tech, it's not about mobile phones, NFTs, it's not about technology, right? It's about recognizing that the way we have done things in the past needs to change, and that's it. So the way that we've always done tourism is changing. It's all that smart tourism is for us is a recognition that the way we do that is changing, okay? The tools that we used to use are becoming obsolete, and it's about recognizing that we as tourism leaders need to be understanding what's coming down the track and need to be getting better and better at using it. So it's not so much about buzzwords, like all the time I get asked to talk about buzzwords. It's not about that. It's just about recognizing that things are changing and we need to be on top of it as destinations. Okay, so you'll all be aware possibly of the European model, and I just want to say this because I don't know if Faro has gone for this competition in the past, but I would love to see them. This is the European capital of smart tourism, which if Malaga were here, they would say that they have won twice, which they have. And this is just to say this is the model. This is the best case scenario for smart tourism is that you are highly functioning across all of these areas. Digitalization, sustainability, culture, heritage, creativity, and accessibility. The current winners this year are Bordeaux and Valencia. This is just to say that I want to see more Portuguese cities in this competition, okay? We will be going for it again next year, and we'd love some Portuguese competition. So yeah, I want to see you guys there in Brussels in October next year, okay? We were last year we were shortlisted along all of these great cities. And we got to be part of that collaborative network that my colleague just talked about as well. So once you get into Europe, you become part of this amazing system. You become, You get access to data mentorship. You get access to the group that is chaired by Malaga, the Smart Destinations Group. And you get access to some of the best cities in Europe for smart tourism, for forward-thinking tourism. So anytime I do a talk, I always say, please go enter this competition because it's absolutely fantastic. We didn't do it this year because we were too busy. We're going to do it next year and hopefully win it. Okay, so the model and network, not to bore anyone too much. We work with all of these partners in the city, and it's incredibly important to the way that we do work. Usually, I've been working in tourism for about 10 years, and I've been working in state tourism development. So I worked for Tourism Ireland, who are the big state marketing company. The way that we work is a bit different in Dublin. We are highly networked. So we work with everyone from MasterCard to Airbnb to Google, all the way to community groups, you know, local hoods, local neighborhoods, all of that sort of stuff, especially along with local universities as well. So very much for us, our smart tourism model is about recognizing that the people we should be working with aren't just tourism professionals. They're kind of everyone, you know. Highly, highly networked. And I did this slide maybe about 6 months ago, and that slide has grown, you know, 100% since the last time I did it. I could put another 50 logos in, very like the Malaga presentation. Okay, so I'm blocking it with my head, but how does it add value, okay? Again, this question of what are you doing? Like, you talk about definitions, you talk about the best way of doing things, you talk about how the world is changing. And I go into board meetings every 3 months, you know, and they say, well, why does any of that matter? What are you actually doing that makes a difference? And that's because we very much still in tourism, in traditional tourism, as you know, we exist in a world of so what? And you can be doing anything you like, it doesn't matter unless you are helping drive organizational goals. So that's the way that we do that is the rest of my presentation, which is projects, research, and partnerships. This is the so what, the interesting bit that I quite like. So the way we do that, we have 3 specific areas that we focus on only. We don't focus on anything else because we have limited resources and limited time. We focus on digital experience development. We focus on data and insights development. As 2 verticals, and as our horizontal, we work specifically, the way we tie all of that together is through engagement and collaboration, which is working with other people. Okay, great. So my favorite topic ever, which is tourism data. We have a very, very unique tourism data infrastructure in Ireland, partly due to the fact that we have so many multinational companies resident in our city. We work with probably 25 different companies to get our data. So far, we don't work with the 2 who've just presented. So we don't work with a telco. So I would love to work with a telco. And we don't work with facial recognition, anonymized facial recognition, because we couldn't get our data protection to sign off on it. So those are the only 2. We work across 25 others, you know, harnessing about 250 different data sources for tourism. But this is nothing new. Like, everyone does this, you know, none of this is new. What I'm going to show you, hopefully, is how we do it a bit differently. Okay. One of the really interesting things I love about tourism data is that you can have all of this great data infrastructure. You can have tourism data lakes. You can be harnessing cell data. You can be building big platforms. Ultimately, the thing that we've found, and I hope might be interesting to you, is that none of it matters if the decision makers of your city, region, or country are used to reports and PDFs, right? So you can have the best tourism data infrastructure in the world, and if your leadership teams and the people who ultimately make the decisions in your cities are used to board meetings and board papers and documents, none of it matters. They're not going to look at it, okay? So what we do is, the way we go about data is in 2 pieces. We have lots of fancy dashboards that we love, but we also condense it all down into PDFs and send it out to about 150 of the top decision makers in the city, okay? Because we're recognizing that a lot of these people have done their entire careers with PDFs, okay? They're not used to dashboards, they're not used to logging in, they're not used to using data in this way. So we still give them, ironically, we give them brand new real-time interesting data. We just give it to them in a PDF every month, okay? And just think about that as a so what in terms of like, all this stuff can be as smart as you like, but if, you know, the leadership teams don't agree with it, then, you know, it doesn't matter. So one of the things we do is we condense all of our data sources into PDFs and then put it in front of our boards. They think it's great, you know? Okay. A very specific piece of interesting that I find. One of the only graphs I'm going to show you, I promise. Dublin has the highest hotel occupancy rate in Europe. Okay, consistently. We have the highest hotel occupancy rates across the board 9 times out of 10. Okay, we are extraordinarily busy. You know, we get about 6 million visitors a year, and they are filling up our hotel rooms more than we can build. Okay, and this is just to say that it's very, very interesting for us. We didn't have this data until about 2 months ago, and now that we have it, we can start to make decisions. If you're coming to Dublin, consider coming off-season. I can try and get you some good rates in hotels. But this is what you're looking at right now is summertime, peak summertime. And we have traditionally got the highest occupancy rates going. Okay, my favorite 2 slides, and then I'll shut up. We have a partnership with Google. So we work directly with Google in Dublin to get hotel and flight data. What you're looking at right now is hotel data. Specifically, people all around the world, not from Ireland, Googling, I want a hotel in Dublin, okay? That's what they're Googling here. And what you're seeing is a visualized line of that demand across time, okay? So the current one we're looking at is the beige line, which is 2022. There's a couple of very, very interesting things about this. My favorite thing about this is this giant spike over here, okay? And this is why tourism data is quite interesting. I don't know if any of you know who Gareth Brooks is. Does anyone know Gareth Brooks? Yes, a few people. A very famous American country western singer. And you can guess what he did in November, which is he launched ticket sales for 3 nights in Dublin. And when he did that, we saw probably 200% of the demand that we traditionally see for any bookings and reservations across Dublin. And then we see them matched in September for when he actually came. We couldn't figure out this spike for about 2 weeks until someone in the office told us it was Gareth Brooks. So we had no idea. One of the really interesting things about this demand curve is you can see how flat it is. As destinations, this is what we're all looking for. Very flat demand, okay? I'm not sure how to go back, but I'm going to go forward. This is Faro. So you're looking at Dublin now. Now you're looking at Faro, okay? So I did this maybe last week. A very seasonal demand curve, which you're all aware of because this is your region. In tourism, this is not what we're looking for, really. In Dublin, we're too full. We'd love to be sending a few more people to Faro. This is a regional demand curve, a traditional U-shaped regional demand curve. Very, very interesting to see that. Obviously, as we all know, you've got spikes of demand during the summer and then a big plateau off during the rest of the year. Really, really fascinating. I love comparing demand curves. So this is one. This is obviously Dublin. You can see that we're really, really high all throughout the year. That results in bookings. That results in high, consistent hotel occupancy. And then we look at Faro. You could probably do this for other Portuguese cities, and especially if you did, you could compare it to the very interesting telco data as well. You're looking at very consistent, like you've been so consistent, you're just seasonally consistent. And I'm sure it's a lot of your jobs is to fight this, I would imagine. Okay, so just very quickly, I want to talk about MasterCard data. We have a couple of partnerships in Ireland. One of them is what I spoke about, is with Google data, which I would encourage you. It's free. Google data, by the way, is free. You don't pay for it. You just have to sign some forms. And MasterCard data, which we do pay for. Okay, everyone is looking for MasterCard data because they control a huge amount of transactional spend across the world. This is the way that we in Dublin tell who is coming into the city and how much money they are spending. When we were tracking this to COVID, it was all over the place. But now that it's kind of stabilized, we're getting a very good picture. So you can see exactly the difference between what I spoke about at the start, which is we don't want more, we want more of those who are paying higher. How do you know that? MasterCard data. So we want more Americans is what I'm trying to say, okay? Yeah, and if you're wondering why, you know, what has driven Ireland's tourism markets, it's purely immigration, okay? So many people left in the 17th, 18th, 19th centuries. This is just their relatives coming back to visit, okay? Really, really interesting. So the Brits, even though there's twice as many Brits as there are Americans coming, the Americans are spending way, way more, okay? So this is why it's very important for Tourism Ireland, who are an international marketing company, pushing very, very ambitious advertising campaigns in both of those countries, okay? Why? Because there's more of them and they're spending much more. You're going to see many more destinations pivot towards their high spenders. So, you know, for the anniversary of Pablo Picasso, that's what we're looking for. We're all after the same market. You know, we're all after higher spenders. And that's how we know. You know, before this, we would have had to have waited for our government statistics database to come back to us after a year telling us this information. Now we know it straight away, okay? It's quite interesting. And finally, we have, as I said, we have huge data lakes, we have big data platforms. We have built an internal data platform ourselves. We did it through DIY. You know, we got a very talented young graduate economist to build this using all of the available tourism data information that was out there. We didn't necessarily have to pay someone, but it's just to say that you can all build tourism dashboards by yourself, you know? And you can obviously import information that you've purchased through telcos or MasterCard or anything like that. We've done this and it's got over 40 or 50 tourism data sources in it already. I promise I'm nearly finished. Okay, so the last thing I'm going to talk about very, very quickly is we talk about tourism data as being this always statistical, always economic, always spend, always footfall, always mobility, always orientation. We have tourism data sets in our city that aren't any of those. We have one of the biggest cultural tourism data sets in the world. We have gone out and used GIS to see what all of the activities and attractions are throughout our destination that aren't tourism specific. So yoga classes, you know, free courses, architecture tours, anything like that, and we've all listed them. One of the interesting things that we did last year was we worked with this provider to put them into the digital kiosks. Now you might not recognize these digital kiosks, but they're going to be everywhere in the next few years, and that's because the developers of these, Clear Channel, will go to cities and say, I'm going to put these in for you for free. I'm going to dig up your old phone boxes. I'm going to put these in for free. And I'm going to give you all the services out of the back of them. And the only thing I want is I want to advertise on the other side, okay? You're going to see these everywhere in Europe in the next 5 years. If you're not seeing them already, old phone boxes will disappear. So we designed these specifically to have a visitor focus. And we put all of these data sources into them and present them to the visitor, okay? So that's the database I was talking about, Culture Near You, the biggest cultural database in Europe, right? Everything you could find from knitting classes to yoga classes in Dublin. And then finally, my last two slides, we wanted to be digital leaders in experience development. So we wrote the first ever European guide for mobile app development. So if you are trying to develop apps as a destination, we wrote the book on how to do that. And then finally, we also published some work along with the Boston Hospitality Review. And then finally, I was very interested to hear that NFT platform cost €500,000. And I thought that was great because this cost us €500,000. You know? This is the biggest or one of the biggest augmented reality heritage trail platforms that we've built for the city, okay? Telling the story and history of our city via augmented reality. This stuff costs a lot of money, you know? And we're trying to be early adopters in the market by developing this sort of stuff, but it's very, very expensive, and that's why it was great to hear Malaga spending €500,000 on their NFT platform. You know, somebody has to be investing in this. You know, it's not going to be the private sector. So we want to be digital leaders in this area, and we want to be investing in this kind of stuff. And whenever you come to visit Ireland, please download this and please use it, because that will help me with my return on investment. And finally, we were just, I found out today that we were listed as finalists for the Data and Innovation Tourism Innovation Summit Award. So I'll be going to Seville next week. If any of your colleagues are there, I would love to chat to them. And hopefully we will win as well. But just to say that next year, please go for this award as well. So that's it from me. Thank you guys so much. I hope I wasn't too boring. And again, fair play to the translators who managed to get through my accent. So thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Ok, vou eu a fazer uma primeira abertura, diria assim, né? Então, na plataforma da nós, que foi apenas já apresentada, a plataforma é um SaaS, como é que as empresas acedem à plataforma e conseguem obter dados?
A plataforma é um SaaS, portanto é um modelo de subscrição em que as pessoas, no fundo, pagam uma mensalidade e têm acesso a todos os dados que estão lá. Também, em adição, muitos dos projetos que nós fazemos mais personalizados e de consultoria podem ser entregues na plataforma. O que é que significa? Significa que é, no fundo, um organismo vivo em que o projeto é carregado na plataforma, mas que depois as pessoas podem interagir com o relatório, adicionar mais indicadores, retirar, carregar dados e, portanto, e além disso, ir atualizando a informação ao longo do tempo. Portanto, eu diria que sim, que tem os dois formatos, quer dizer, pode ser entregue no âmbito do projeto, mas tipicamente é uma mensalidade que se paga.
Obrigado. Sim, agora, João. Claro.
Também na mesma linha, perguntar qual é o delay da informação que vocês disponibilizam e se lhe faz sentido que ainda haja inquéritos de fronteira como são hoje feitos pelo INE com uma tecnologia destas.
Sim. Duas coisas. Em relação aos inquéritos de fronteira, nesse caso específico não faz muito sentido. Existem alguns casos muito específicos em que, quando se precisa de ter uma granularidade na análise muito focada para uma região muito pequenininha, aí, como as análises no mercado são à secção estatística, não conseguimos ter esse grau de granularidade e, portanto, é necessário ter lá as pessoas no terreno. A primeira questão era sobre o delay. Sim, tipicamente 24 horas. Ok? Portanto, no dia seguinte, nós conseguimos processar os dados do dia anterior. Ok? Por exemplo, a plataforma ela é carregada diariamente com a informação do dia anterior.
Isto é para dizer que nós no turismo, ciclicamente, estamos, enquanto destino de Portugal, muito bem avaliados no índice de competitividade. Mas na área dos dados, na área da informação, nós estamos tradicionalmente muito mal num ranking, quando, na prática, se as entidades que providenciam esta informação, nomeadamente o INE, utilizarem este tipo de tecnologia, nós podemos estar na linha da frente. Para providenciar menos informação do que aquela que vocês disponibilizam, em 24 horas, o INE dá a informação com 2 meses de atraso, o que para nós, obviamente, é crítico. É por isso. E para providenciar a informação para o município, às vezes levam 2 anos. Porque é o anuário estatístico que tem aquela informação. Portanto, para nós que estamos num destino que é altamente competitivo, esta informação tem que estar disponível. Mas agora uma provocação é que vocês também se fazem cobrar muito alto.
Há uma pergunta. Jorge, ali no meio.
Uma pergunta para o Barry, se posso fazer logo em inglês, não sei. Okay. Barry, first of all, congratulations. I like the take on avoiding the new and shiny things within tech, because obviously, like, it's very fancy to go throwing around the buzzwords, but obviously, yeah, it's the main challenge really is to take advantage of these new tools as we evolve into a new era. So, saying that, obviously, like, you had the sensibility to handing out information through PDFs to whomever is attached still to the PDF format. But how are you like managing this culture shift? How you're, because obviously like you're very deep into analysis, so that's something that's obviously a key way forward. But all the other stakeholders, how are they evolving, also taking advantage of this, the way that you guys are going towards?
Yeah, what a great question. It's very interesting. Managing that culture shift, I think, is why my job exists. Because, like, Irish tourism recognized that there was this yawning gap in between all the opportunities proposed by data and tech and all of that magic, and then bridging that gap between the traditional tourism sector. And one of the things that's great about Irish tourism, or any tourism, is that, you know, they absolutely do not have any appetite for bullshit whatsoever. You know, they're the last people who will entertain anything like that, or anything at all like that. So my job is very much to be the translator, ironically, between technology providers, data scientists, platform development people, and traditional Irish tourism. And so my whole job is managing that cultural shift. So the ways in which we do that are really just to prove the value, you know? It's very simple. It's once people can see the value in this data, the value in these mobile app development projects, the value in this knowledge space, they're the first people to go and adopt it. But I think that one of the reasons is tourism has been struggling with adopting technology more than other industries is because they are a inherently skeptical industry. And that's just come about just purely through survival. And so I'd see myself very much as a cultural translator in that space, you know, and it's my job is to make that stuff real, I think. So yeah, great question. If I had figured that out, I would let you know.
Good afternoon, everyone. Sérgio Correia, National Tourism Board of Portugal. My question goes to Barry, because I was listening to your presentation, and actually this question feeds with the question that I wanted to do, which is, do you teach SME especially how to use the data that you provide? Because I think it's absolutely great to have fancy, beautiful, well-designed platforms, but in the end of the day, if the SMEs, if the decision makers don't understand the data that is there, they are not taking good decisions, and they are taking data as bullshit. So I think it's absolutely the point that you put, and my question is, do you do that training for them?
Yeah, absolutely, and I apologize for bringing that word into the lexicon of the meeting. Yeah, very much so. So we provide that buffer, as I said, between the world of that opportunity and the industry, and the ways in which, you know, I had kind of 3 areas up on the board. I had digital, data, and then underneath that, engagement and collaboration. And engagement and collaboration is the way in which we translate all of that into real time. So we started off with big data platforms, data pools, dashboards. And what we kept hearing back was, I don't want to see this. I can't understand this. This needs to be simpler. So all we did was, you know, we took a lot of the learnings from those big data portals. We wrote some text beside it to say what it meant, used a few internal economists. We presented it as a PDF and everyone loved it, you know? And in the background, we're still doing all of the big, wonderful data work. But ultimately, as you said, it was meaningless until we could find a medium to put it into the hands of decision makers, you know, and that's our big challenge, is making all of this smart tourism stuff matter, you know. None of it matters unless it's useful to decision makers. None of it gets funded unless it's useful to decision makers. And so we've been doing that. We've been kind of translating that upwards and downwards, upwards to CEOs, and then downwards, I suppose, into museum operators, local authority tourism officers, hoteliers, everyone in the tourism industry, you know? So we've been trying to crack that nut for a long time, but yeah, that's very much what we do is you know, we teach through accreditation, we provide all of this resource for free, And then we provide access to all of this data partnerships as well. So that said, since we started, they're getting much faster. You know, they're completely up to speed now. You know, we don't have to do anything anymore.
Manuel Diaz, Microsoft. So congratulations, Barry, for your presentation. I really love it. So my question is regarding the last slide that you had on augmented reality. Yeah. And I agree that we have a big gap between technology and then all what we can do with it. And we have a lot of data science, analytics, augmented reality. But then when you go to the field, to the ecosystem, it's really a matter of adoption and simplifying the experience. And my question is not about this, it's really regarding the last slide. You didn't talk about the metaverse, but we are all, now it's the big hype. How do you see the augmented reality in tourism? Because it's really about experience affecting in 5 years the tourism industry. What's your opinion on that?
It's such a good question. So AR, augmented reality, something we've been working on. We've invested €500,000 into it. We're building augmented reality platforms. The private sector is catching up, the private sector is ahead. They're developing their own augmented reality platforms. And if anyone told you that they were doing this with a 5-year plan in mind, they'd be lying to you, right? Nobody knows. Certainly not in the kind of public sector, but all we know is that we need to be present and we need to understand. And we need to be very much investing in that area. But for me, augmented reality is kind of the sideshow at the moment because, you know, what we're really talking about here is visitor experience via the medium of a smartphone. And that's what we should all be talking about. AR, it's just a way of doing that. It's just an interesting way of delivering visitor experience through a smartphone. But like I was at a conference last week and there was a behavioral psychologist there who said that our attention span has now dropped from 20 minutes pre-COVID to 40 seconds in the current environment. And like, you know, we can see that if we're not currently looking at our phones and we want to, you know, we are addicted to smartphones. The rate of adoption of technology of those smartphones is getting better every single year. So for me, it's like, yeah, AR is great. The fidelity is getting better. Currently, it looks like a 90s video game. Yeah, great, but it's getting faster and better all the time. We need to be present in that market space as destinations. We need to know how to capitalize, but the horse we all need to be betting on as destinations is the smartphone. Like, we need to understand that sphere of influence because everyone is addicted to them. Visitors, CEOs, whoever you want, everyone is addicted to their smartphone. And so I'm trying to currently figure out on behalf of my city, how do I capitalize on that opportunity across, you know, a suite of options and things, one of which is augmented reality, you know? I hope that answered your question. I'll just check my phone now and see who's texting me.
Just to share with you that at Microsoft, we just bought a company for mixed reality, besides the glasses. And we are starting to have conferences in the metaverse, real conferences in the metaverse. So my concern with tourism is if I come to Faro, or I just stay in Lisbon, in the metaverse with a model, with a digital model of the city, of the beaches. That's my concern. If the new generation is used to use the phone, and Teams and all the collaboration platforms and just don't go to the places. They can be smart, but if you don't have people there, they cannot leverage what we have to share with.
I couldn't agree anymore. And like, it gets back to what I said at the start, which is like, it's not about mastering any one specific thing. It's not about becoming the best in the world at augmented reality. It's about understanding the tools that are changing constantly and being aware of how you can capitalize on them. Because it's augmented reality now, it's NFTs now. Tomorrow it'll be the metaverse. 5 years' time, it'll be something completely different. You know, it's about having the attitude that means that you can take advantage of them. And, you know, not so much being obsessed with capitalizing on them, I think. That's and just to finish, I know I'm rambling. The problem I have is that the tourism industry in Ireland are very skeptical about augmented reality and apps and mobiles. They think that mobile phones are getting in the way of traditional visitor experiences. You know, that they're physically getting in the way of what we all value as traditional tourism experiences. And that's absolutely true. And the reason that is happening is because they're insanely addictive. And people are ultimately addicted to them. And we need to understand why that is and how we can at least work with it in the end, you know? But I couldn't agree with you more. It's just, I'm not intelligent enough to know what's happening in 5 years' time.
Just a comment. I agree with you also because there is for us today the mobile phone is another hand for us or another eyes, and also because the virtual reality started 10 years ago with Second Life, and Second Life didn't explode like people who was thinking. So what's up in the metaverse? We don't know, but we know the Second Life didn't success.
Yeah.
So in this moment, it's difficult to say if the metaverse will explode because we have an experience that Second Life crashed. So crashed exists but didn't explode. So this is what's better. Perhaps augmented reality, AR, could be grow up more and more than virtual reality for now.
Yeah.
Later we'll see.
There's one small thing we're doing, which is that, and this is interesting for people in this room, is that when we were tendering for that big, expensive platform, we wrote in a line that said, whatever is the future of this technology, we reserve the right to transfer all of this augmented reality content over to whatever that is. So we recognized, it's a 4-year, like most contracts would be 4-year contracts, right? We recognize that if the Netflix of augmented reality comes down the line, or the metaverse, or whatever, we reserve the right with you as your provider to close everything down and move over all of the content to whatever that is, you know, because we don't want to be locked into a specific platform that nobody is using if everyone is talking about what's over here, you know? And so part of that is we've created wording and terminology around something that we have no idea what it is, you know? And that's very much where I see the value of my program, is just being like, you know, very specific things like that. Like, we should be able to move content over to whatever the future is, because a lot of the time you can't. Yeah, sorry.
Outra pergunta do público? Não? Então, thank you. Muito obrigado. Thank you very much to you. And we have the second panel. Temos o segundo painel agora, né? Ok. Muito obrigado a todos.
Muito obrigado. Com o segundo painel.